Uh, yeah, well, we've never been stopped being friends since when I first met him from that first day up at when David Anderley brought me to his house, and I'd gotten two other singers together, and he knew about it, and he heard us sing, and he really liked it, so I think he wanted to start that. I think there was a period where what he'd always wanted to do was uh, have a whole artistic thing that was separate from the Beach Boys. And he kind of did a little bit with his wife Marilyn in the early days and stuff like that, but it wasn't. I think he was really saying the Beach Boys have done their stuff. I've really done what I think is some incredible stuff. Now I want to start doing stuff with other people, other bands. So we were we were the band that he thought, we were vocalists. He could we didn't really play. We could play guitars and stuff, but we weren't a band that he had to fight. He could bring in, drop in. He could bring in his crew of people, and we could, uh, besides what the Beach Boys could do, which we could basically do, could be really soulful blues. We could do blues. I mean, hard on blues. So I think he felt that his palette could expand in areas where he hadn't. Kind of get into a little Spectre area, which you couldn't kind of do with the Beach Boys and vocally sometimes. That it was a different kind of sound. Uh, so we went over to his house on Bellagio Road, and he played us both songs, and we loved them. So we actually did "Time to Get Alone." One of the songs we did. We did it on Selma. We did it. We didn't do it at the house. We did it someplace else. And I had some ideas on it, and he was nice about it and used some of them. Uh, and Darlin, we were at the house, and he said, "Okay, let's do Darlin tonight." So he put down the piano, and then he called a Motown bass player from Motown, came down and did it. And then they just slowly they stacked it. They did a lot of tracking. It wasn't done at once. Put the parts on it. Then we did a guide vocal, and that was it. Then the Beach Boys came in town, and Mike said, So that's our track. Darlin is actually is our track, and then they put their vocals on it. Three Dog Night had a situation when we worked with Brian, where Mike came in and kind of was not happy with the situation, and I completely understand. They came back from tour, and Mike Love hears a song called "Darlin" that Brian had written for. Three Dog Night was called Redwood at the time, and he was pissed off. He said, "What are you giving them a hit song for?" And I can absolutely see his point. But Brian, we had committed to doing it with Brian. Brian wrote the song because I used to say "Darlin." He wrote it for me, and it ended up with our voices being taken off, and there's put on it. Carl doing it. Uh, but yeah, Mike is Mike is a guy that comes up with these ideas. He's very protective of the Beach Boys. It's a great legacy, uh, and I see his side of it. But he absolutely rubs a lot of people the wrong way. We were going to do an album, and we're going to do different things. And what was great about it is our manager said, "Okay, well, look, you guys, you had your chance with him. So go out and get a band, get four guys, and you're going to have to go and make it on a club circuit. You're going to have to show you can do it live, not from records," which actually ended up being wonderful. In the end, it ended up. I got to thank Mike for that. um, Brian was not adversarial. He couldn't be. He'd just hide. Yeah, he did not. Uh, you know, Dennis would be the guy that would push you in the chest, but to protect Brian. Carl was the referee. He just didn't want any conflict, and Mike was always pushing. To, he was like always trying to do the alpha thing. Uh, and so that was I would say the structure of the relationship. But it wasn't two alphas going at each other. Brian would, he would back off. Except in the studio where he didn't, that was a different thing. I think there's and it's just my opinion. I just think like a lot of people, he wanted change. He thought maybe I can get excited, reignited. I can do different things with different artists than I can with the Beach Boys, and maybe that was one of the reasons why the reign was kind of given to the Beach Boys to get credit on that album, so he could slowly maybe wean himself over here. Good, you guys, I'm not deserting you. Look, you're good on your own. I'll come in and help, but now this will give me a little time to do some new things. I think it represented definitely the best of American rock and roll. Absolutely. There's obviously Frank Sinatra and different other genres, but I would say it's the and unique. I think, and something that will last. I think in 50 years, you can play all of these great American artists, but when you play the Beach Boys, there's a uniqueness to Brian's music and his style that no one else had.